Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? I think there's hearing. I need to check that. Think it's good, but I'm not sure. Give me 1 second. Hello, my Teaserking family.
Hello, my Teaserking family.
Sounds good. So you can hear me, Pat? Just want to make sure. Well, so are the gold shorts. Let's go into it. So right now, gold is at 28.37, and you see it got up to 28.45. Okay, thanks, Pat. I never know because I can hear myself, but I got little bubbles on the bottom, and it came out. If all the bubbles are there, nobody can hear me, but I see one open, so I just hope it's still there. So we see gold just going to the moon, 28.36. Again, if we notice at 10 o'clock, here comes the U.S. derivatives, which I thought they were done with, but they're still try it. And then it'll get back into the 28.40s as soon as this derivative runs down. It always happens at 10, and then by about 10:30, 11, it starts. It's 10:51, so we'll see it starting to go up. Silver shorts are in trouble. Well, that's why they're keeping the price down. They're not keeping the price down for any other reason than the derivatives, the shorts that they've done at $22 and $24 and $25. They're all going to blow up. So they're still trying to keep silver down, but it's not going to work. Some people like Alligator think, oh, it's China keeping the price down. He doesn't understand derivatives, which is odd since he's a banker. But that's why silver's staying low. But it can't keep staying low. They can only play the game. This is COMEX so long. London we see is out of gold. I don't know what we talked about the 400 tons coming to America, but I think that was to pay off derivatives on the gold derivatives. Are we going on the gold standard? What are we waiting for? And I think that's what BRICS is waiting for. They know we're collapsing. So they're figuring, well, we'll go on the gold standard. And then BRICS is saying, okay, now we can go on it. We don't want to provoke the U.S. or anything. That's why they haven't gone gold yet, but they keep accumulating gold. And that's basically what will happen. So we'll have to go on gold because our dollar is worthless. I was watching one of these finance shows this month, new all-time high for silver. Well, yeah, I certainly hope so. But again, that's paper. So even if it goes to 50, that's paper gold. That's the paper gold price. And the thing people don't understand is there's never been a physical price in gold and silver. Maybe in Roman times, but after that, for sure with us since 1971, it's always been derivatives. It's been a paper price, not a physical. And I just lost my thought with the guy I was watching, but oh yeah, they never understand it's a paper price that they're talking about. So he's talking about $8,000 gold. You talking physical? Or you talking paper? Does he know the difference? I'm not sure he does. And this is the problem with people. They don't know the difference. This 28, now it's 28.35. This 28.35 is paper. It's not physical. So why is the paper price going up? And this is the question nobody answers. Yes, it's BRICS buying gold. It's It's the demand for gold, but they buy it on COMEX, but there's probably more gold that's priced higher. I know the Shanghai exchange and the Russia's got an exchange. Dubai's going to have one. London's gone, and then COMEX will go away. And that'll be the key. That's the key to my estimation, is the physical gold, not the paper. And yet it's amazing how few people understand that or talk about it. So I was watching this show. Which is
learn about crypto and get rewarded as you learn with Coinbase Learning Rewards. We've paid out over $1.
And the solution.
So this was 4 reasons gold could soar in 25, the path to $8,000 gold. This is a reporter. Now he's reporting gold, but he doesn't get, is he talking paper or is he talking physical? Or does he even know there's a difference? And this is where we're ahead of the game. This is why we're 5 steps ahead. We're talking physical gold. Now, I know there's no physical price yet, but there will be one. And so when you say, Pat, all-time high, you're talking paper, because we don't know what the all-time high in physical gold is. And so an alligator says, well, the Chinese aren't buying gold, they're selling dollars. What are they doing with the dollars? They're buying gold with it. Or they compare gold to oil or gold to other things. And, oh, yeah, in the Roman days, you could buy a suit with an ounce of gold. And now today, but you don't know what the price, you don't know what the physical price of gold is. You only know that they use the paper price if you want to buy an ounce of gold. So if you're going to go buy an ounce, right now I'm going to pay, it's $28.40. I'm going to pay $29.50 for an ounce of gold that I just paid $27 for a couple of weeks ago. What do you think about platinum? It's very, very rare. Well, I would say it's the same thing. As long as you can't inflate it. The key is, can you inflate it? Just a second. Let me take this. I'll be back in a second. Hello? I'm okay, Shelly. How are you? Perfect. I'll see her at 11:30. Sounds good. I haven't talked to her since Italy back in October. So I just wanted, my job got eliminated, which I've never heard of before. And just wanted to talk. Yeah, I was shocked. They didn't give me 2 weeks notice or anything. I was a contractor, but so I was a little bit, I kind of stayed stoic and just kind of laughed it off. I didn't get upset and just kind of said, oh, well, you're lost. Like, then I said, is there somewhere else you can put me in the company? And they said, well, I'll put in a word with HR for you. And, I'm wondering, is it something I did? And they said, no, it's just we're eliminating the position. And to tell you the truth, there wasn't much for me to do anyway. I didn't, I'm like, you're bringing me on, you're paying me good money, you don't have anything for me to do. And my boss was a very bad communicator. So I was there so I could buy gold and silver and pay down some credit cards. And I got that. And anyway, so I just wanted to verify with Sue, was it really an elimination, or did I do something? And well, because I talk about gold, you know how I do, and sometimes people get it the wrong way, and they, oh, Howard's doing this, and okay, let's get rid of him. So I don't know. They kind of, that's why I said, can I still get another job? And he said, oh yeah. And I left a message with HR today saying the position was eliminated. So as long as that's their story, I asked my boss if I could be, if he could be my reference, and he said, he kind of, yeah, okay. So I don't know if I can trust him, but I can test him. But he did say yes, which is good. And so anyway, I was there for about 4 months. I need to take a vacation. Every time I go on a vacation, I get a job. Because I got this one. I interviewed with it in August. Nothing. So I go to Italy in October, and she calls me like the Tuesday before I'm leaving. We want to interview you. I said, well, I'm in Italy. I get back Wednesday. I can interview Thursday, and I interviewed Thursday, and I got the job. So it's crazy. So I got to plan a trip. 11:30 sounds perfect. Let's do an hour. I think sounds right, and she'll let me know whatever she needs. So, okay, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Bye bye. Sorry about that. I had to take that call now that I'm in between work. What do you think about? So, get to your answer about platinum. Thanks for waiting, people. I don't know much about it because it's not a precious metal like gold and silver, which is what I focus on. Gold and silver are money. Platinum is not money. However, what you say it's very rare, which is fine. Is there demand for it? What is it used for? And where silver, they're supposedly trying to keep the price down because of the military needs silver for their Tomahawk missiles and the solar panels. They need that. They need silver for that. So they're trying to keep the price down. Well, that's not how the market works. So I would tell you, Pat, and I could do some research on platinum. I would be buying gold first because gold is money and probably just as limited as platinum. But if there's a high demand for platinum and it's as rare as you're saying, and there's a physical price, so is there a paper or physical price on it? So I would need to know that, and we could analyze it just like gold and silver. Paper price, physical price, very limited. Is there demand? If you have very limited with high demand, like you have in gold and silver, then platinum would be a good play. But keep in mind, platinum is not money, and that's the difference. Gold and silver, you'll go to the stores with. Platinum, you won't. It's not money. It's never been money. It's not a precious metal in the terms of being money. So let me do some research on it. But is it on COMEX? Then it's probably paper. And what's the use? And that would be the key. So if it's used a lot and it's paper priced, yeah, it'll be manipulated just like gold and silver, but would go from there. So just funny to see how many people do not understand. They'll do these charts. So this guy here, he had a pretty good explanation. I've never heard of him before. South Bank Investment. This was not done 23 hours ago. This was done like 3-4 years ago, and they just replayed it because he's talking about 2021 or 2022, not 2025. So he's saying that the dollars, when they trust the dollar or they don't trust the dollar. Alligator says the dollar is it's faith and trust of the government. If you trust the government, you'll keep the dollar. When you lose trust, the dollar's gone. Well, I don't agree with that. I think that when you print the money to nothing, prices are going up. It's worth less. I don't think it's got anything to do with the government. Do I trust that this dollar's worth anything? And you can go to the store and see it's not worth anything. So I don't really know what the government has to do with it. I don't think anybody trusts the government as far as that goes. So I'd like to say that just keep buying gold and silver based on them printing the money. See, we look at things a little bit as an economist, and most people aren't economists. But this guy's a writer. Alligator's a banker. Mark McGuire's a banker. Egon is kind of a banker, but I think he understands it as an economist. His friend Matt Pfeifenberger he's a salesman. He doesn't understand anything. So as I say, to answer your question, Pat, this is why I say buy Rolexes or like here, there's 50 Mahomes cards. Now, there's other sets with 50 Mahomes cards. So this isn't the only 50 Mahomes card. If it was, it'd be worth a ton. But the fact it is 50, is it the prettiest of all the 50 counts or 25 counts? As I told you, I have a one-on-one Steve Yzerman. Well, there's a 25 Steve Yzerman, there's a 50, there's 100. What's the demand for Steve Yzerman? And then it's only one. And how many ones are there? Not I think maybe one or two others. So really, you want to you've got to. I don't think there's really has anything to do with trusting the government. I think if you ask people, do you trust the government? They're going to say no. But the question I've got to start asking is, why don't you move out of the vintage? Well, of course. I mean, I'm pulling Beanie Babies out that are all of a sudden. Let me show you. So I think this is worth $2, right? It's a radar of the bat, 1993. It's a beanie. Oh, this isn't worth anything. But then I look at the tag here and see what it says. It says PVC pellets. I know I've talked to you about this before. You can see it's 1995. So they're not making new ones. The thing is with this one, because it says PVC pellets, it's worth like $300-400. Much to my surprise, thinking this is a $5 beanie. It never went anywhere. But because it says PVC pellets instead of PE pellets, it's now limited. So it makes the supply less. And then because the supply is less, the demand goes up. So I showed that to I gave a couple to Alyssa when she was over and for her kids. And then, they're not worth anything. So I gave her a couple, and then I realized, then I went in and I started seeing these errors, and all of a sudden, now that made it limited. There was still demand for beanies, but nobody thought they were worth anything. So that goes into your point. Rolexes, they make very few of. The mantle cards, they're already done. This is like a 1965, I show you, 1968, and they're $75,000 for PSA 9s. Why? Because PSA 9s are extremely limited. To get a mint condition card from 1965 or 1968 in 2025 is impossible. You won't see a PSA 10 because nobody has a gem mint 10. If you've got a gem mint 10, Mickey Mantle from 65 or 68 or Mays or Clementi or any, they're probably worth $1 million because they're in demand, but because they're limited. And that's the key to investing, and that's the key to anything. So what we know with the dollar is it's not limited. So who wants to invest in it? Now I heard Alligator talk about he wants to get out of. I swear these guys listen to my show. I can tell because I'll do an hour and a half, and then I see listening time like 4 hours. I wasn't on for 4 hours. So people are obviously recording and then obviously sharing. And that's how because they'll say Titanic or like that cowboy started talking about Keynesian and Austrian, which I talk about all the time, which he never has talked about. But he still doesn't understand it. Right? Keynesian's communism, government controls the market, and Austrian is free market. We control the market. That's basically pretty much what it is. It's free market, and that's what we want because, I might go get Chinese. I'm going to get barbecue. I'm going to get a hamburger. You don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get. That's why you need free market because the government can't do that. So vintage toys, if they're popular, if they're demanded, I know trains had a big value. Anything that's kind of pop. So the first thing you're looking at is it popular? And the second thing you're looking at is supply short? Are they very limited? Could be errors. It could be, or I don't know what, the little toy trains. So you'd have a train set, very limited. Those are worth a lot, but there has to be demand for it. It can't just be limited. It has to be a demand. That's why I say Madeline Mays and Koufax cards and, Johnny Bench and Pete Rose, because they are limited. They are popular. They're in demand. So what I notice is with Alligator, he always said, well, China's not buying gold, they're selling dollars. And it's like, it's probably the stupidest analogy I've ever heard. If I go to buy gold, I'm buying gold. I'm taking dollars to buy gold, but I'm buying gold. That's why I'm going. I'm not going to get rid of my dollars. It's such a function of I need the dollar to buy the gold. It's the same thing when I go to the grocery store and buy a steak. I'm not selling dollars. I'm buying gold. You're taking your dollars to buy something, and that's what people are doing. They're taking their dollars. That's what China's doing. They're taking their dollars to buy gold, and Russia and every other BRICS country. So yes, they're part of the reason is they want to get out of dollars because they know the dollars are worthless, which you never hear from these regular American people. They won't say that. They will not say the dollar's in trouble, it's heavily inflated, they printed too much, or the $36 trillion debt. They really don't connect the dots. This guy it was a fairly decent thing, but I'm not going to waste your time with it. It's okay. I think he's got a general idea, but it's, again, people don't trust the dollar. They don't trust the stocks start diving and the housing starts diving and then gold starts growing. But the problem he misses is all the manipulation. The government is the one printing money and putting it in the stocks. So the stock market's up because the government's printing money, not because of demand. So you have to understand, is there demand or is it not demand? It's just fixed. Is there demand for gold? Well, it's fixed right now on paper derivatives, but they're going the other way to keep the price down. That's the point of understanding it's not a free market. So silver, we know, is going out, but silver doesn't move until COMEX gets blown up or they stop using COMEX to price it, because they'll keep doing the derivatives because they're getting killed in their shorts. So when they finally get out of their shorts in silver and realize it ain't going to $22 or $25 an ounce, my derivatives are fucked. And apparently, I don't know how long they can go, how long the derivative is. Is it 5 years? I mean, I don't know. But that's what's happening. So when they finally give up, that's when silver goes. And they keep thinking, well, silver goes twice as fast as gold, but then silver is very volatile. Again, they don't know what physical is. They only are talking in the paper derivative markets. So silver in a derivative is very, very strong like that, but not in a regular market. And that I just want to make a note. So that's the problem in the derivative market. You can't say this is what's going to happen or that's what's going to happen. Again, you can't use trend analysis or technical analysis to come up with any type of assumption, because it's all derivatives and they're going to do certain things at certain times. But now you have this huge demand for gold and silver, which wipes out your technical analysis, because you didn't have that in 2008 and 9 and 10. There wasn't this huge BRICS and there wasn't this huge, we got to buy gold to back our currency. That wasn't there. So that's why you can't use the technical analysis in 2008 or 9 or 10, or say silver is going to do this, that, and the other. It's going to be volatile. If silver was real and was a physical price, it would not do that. People would buy silver and that's it. They would keep buying it and the price wouldn't come down. As you see, gold now is really not, you know, it went through 2,700. Now it's 2,840. So it didn't drip back into the 27s. It did Friday. It ended 27.98, but immediately back up to 28.20. Now 28.40. Could be 29 by the end of the week. We'll see what happens. But you always want to get the physical price of things. So vintage toys, baseball cards, Rolexes are the physical price because you actually have. I have the card, and if I go to sell it, it's a physical price. We're not using derivatives or options on this. But gold and silver and probably platinum, I would say, is being derivative. It is paper. It is not physical. And so you're at the mercy of the JP Morgan, who is the one behind COMEX, the wizard who pulls the curtain back, who is the one keeping the prices up or down for whatever his reasons are. So keep that in mind. You're not getting the physical. So this guy talks about $8,000, gold to 8,000. I don't think he's talking physical. I think he's talking paper. And if he's talking paper, what is he talking about? There'll be a price that goes physical, but at this point, we're still paper. Even this run, we're at 28.40. It's still paper. It's a lot of demand because now there's 20 countries in BRICS. 10 more have joined. They need gold. And what these guys don't get is they need the gold because the dollar's going out. It's printed too much. Trump's doing the tariff because he's trying to get money in to pay the debt off because he knows he can't do it any other way. He doesn't want to tax us because he knows that'll take money out of the economy and the economy will blow up anyway. But the economy is blowing up because the dollar isn't worth anything. So that's what Trump's doing. Again, my favorite, and I'll be brief with this. So we've got the medium of exchange is what everybody wants. Now, not everybody wants gold right now. They still want dollars. And then what is it's whatever is the most marketable commodity. And what it is, the 5-6 things of the commodity is portable, fits in your pocket, scarce, very limited, divisible, so you can quarters, dimes, half dollars, fungible, it's replaceable. So if I get another ounce of gold, it replaces that. Accepted. It's got to be accepted by everybody, and durable. You can't burn it or anything. What's a strong country? Lower taxes, lower government spend to budget, gold standard, free trade, and constitution. Why are we so strong? Because we have a constitution. Where a lot of countries are dictators, kings or queens, communist countries, socialist. If you're in Venezuela, you're doing whatever that guy says. He lost the election. It didn't matter. He's still no, it doesn't count. So when you're being dictated to like that, that's a big problem. You're not free. And so this is what you're doing. So since we've always kind of had the president and everything, so we kind of followed Rome, as I talked about it yesterday. There was 2 councils. So the president would go a month and then the other president would go a month. And it was a balance of power that you didn't want a dictator. So that's kind of what BRICS is, right? It was in South Africa and now it went to Russia. And then this year it's in Brazil. And so you have a balance of power. So they're very creative with it. They're still going to have the gold-backed currency because they realize that their currencies are ridiculous and they need gold. And here comes Trump with his tariffs, and they're just laughing at it. China made their own tariffs on the U.S. today. This is the problem with tariffs. It raises prices to us, the consumer. They don't care how much it costs for tennis from 50 to 200. We do care because we're the consumer going to buy it. Now you've raised our prices. And you think you're going to get taxes. Well, you're going to sell a lot less of them because of the higher price. And when you do that, you're not going to get the income in. It's sort of like raising the percent on income tax. It goes from 20 to 30% because you think you'll get more money in. And the problem is people don't pay it, and less people work. And so you end up not getting the extra 10% in revenue. You actually lose because there's less people working because the cost went up or whatever. I mean, if you made income tax 80%, who would work? Nobody would work, because basically your whole check would go to the government. You make $100,000, you keep 20 of it. Well, I probably won't work, or I'll figure out a different way, or I'll substitute to a different country where I can actually keep most of my $100,000. So that's really what we have, and these tariffs do not work. The thought is to get the tax to pay the debt and to, other things, but he needs to go gold and he doesn't have it. And this 400 tons of gold had to go to COMEX. I doubt now we can go on the gold standard. If we do, it's 10% gold or something with 400 ounces or 400 tons. But we need more if we're going up, but we have to go on the gold standard. It's our only way out because we printed too much. Now people don't directly correlate, I don't trust the government, because they don't correlate the money and the government, right? They think the government's over here and the money is over here. They think they're separate. Well, they don't screw the dollar. This is why I'm struggling with people who won't get out of their 401ks or sell their stocks or get into annuities instead of buying gold and silver. They don't get it because they don't understand the dollar is broke. They don't understand it's printed to death. Or they think, well, it's the dollar, it'll be fine. Why would I get out of the dollars into gold and silver? What's wrong with? There's nothing wrong with the dollar. Yeah, the government's corrupt, but there's nothing wrong with the dollar. They don't even connect the dots. And yes, the dollar, it's like it's covered by the faith of the government is what it says. Legal tender. Let's see, mine's all ripped. Well, let's see. I think I got a 20, but I'm not going to rip that up. I'll only rip dollars. So this is another piece of monopoly money. Federal Reserve note means it comes from the Fed. It's worth 20. There's a serial number on it. The United States of America. This note is legal tender for all debt, public and private. Treasurer of the United States, Series 2013. See, I'd have a hard time going back to the future, and I want to buy gold at $35 an ounce in 1971, and then this is dated 2013. I'm probably not going to get it. I don't know. It doesn't say backed by the government, the United States of America, and God we trust, $20. But I don't see anywhere that it's based on the faith of the government. It doesn't say it. But I'm not ripping this up. But this is only worth 20 times 0.9. This is worth this is worth like $2. So where this is worth 1 cent, this is worth $2. So you think you got $20 to go to the grocery store, go buy something. You put 2 items in your thing. Everything, I swear, is $3, $4. My pita bread's $3.95 or so. It's a joke. And just things are still, it doesn't buy anything, but people don't follow it through and understand that the dollar is basically what you can purchase with. It's the medium of exchange, but it's not scarce. They've printed trillions to even have a $36 trillion debt. What the fuck is that? How could you possibly let it go? That's like at your home, you just keep spending, you make $2,000 a month on your at your job, and you spend 5,000 a month. Like, you can't do that. You can only spend the 2,000. Currency is not money. Well, let's call it a medium of exchange. It's what everybody wants, most marketable commodity. It is a medium of exchange because we exchange our service. We go to work, we get paid, and then we pay our bills and we eat with it, and we pay our rent and our utilities. It's a medium of exchange. It's fiat because the government prints it, but it is money. It's just fake money. It's monopoly money. Gold and silver are money. And the difference is, well, really, gold and silver aren't backed by the government. They're worth more, like a Rolex or a Mantle card. They have their value. So that's the difference. To say Bitcoin has value, Bitcoin I saw went from 106,000 to 91,000 over the weekend with these tariffs. Now, so that tells you what's the value. I know gold. Now, again, gold really is just being dicked around by the derivatives. It's worth a lot more than 28.50 or whatever. But it's nice to see it climbing because eventually it'll break into real physical gold. But theoretically, gold is money, but really the fiat is really money. It's an IOU. But when you go to the store, the restaurant with it, or you take a trip, you go to the store, the restaurant on your trip, they take it. So that's where it is money. It's exchangeable. It's a medium of exchange at whatever country. It just like this and my 20 are different. If I had a 20 euro, which I don't, let me take this. Hello? Hello?
Hello. Hi, good morning. This is Shauna working with me back. We were calling regarding a request we made for a show in your home.
I keep getting this. I requested a shower, which I never did, so I don't understand it. And then I'll block them, and then all these other numbers will call me. But you can hear when you hear that bloop that it's scam. So here's the 5 and here's the 20. And I can use this in Europe. I really would have a hard time using this in America. But when we go to Barcelona or Berlin or Italy, we use these. And there's exchange rates. The whole system's so fucked up. Why is a 20, and if this was a 20, not worth the same? Why is there an exchange rate? I mean, it's not worth the same. Oh, so do you know how they come up with FX rates? I did one on that. Pat, could you say that the dollar is backed by debt and Bitcoin is not backed by debt? No, I would say Bitcoin is still backed by debt. I say in stocks, I think everything's backed by the dollar is backed by debt. Bitcoin's $90,000. So it is backed by the dollar. This is where I come up with my Titanic analysis. All the paper stuff you want to get out of, stocks, bonds, the bank, real estate trust, even Bitcoin, you want to get out of because it's backed by dollars. Even the Mahomes or the Mantle card are theoretically backed by dollars. Now, the difference is when the dollar goes out and we have the Mantle card, people will price it in gold. And then it'll be, oh, okay. I don't know if they'll use a calculation or what. We want it to be free market. What will you give me for it? Oh, I'll give you an ounce of gold for the Mantle card, which was worth $75,000, and maybe he takes it, maybe he doesn't. But that's really what it's all backed by dollars. So my Titanic analogy is the ship sinking. You want to get out of all dollars, and your only option is gold and silver lifeboats. So I don't want to go from the bank to the stocks to the bonds. They're just on different levels of the deck. Deck 2 is your bonds, deck 3 is your stocks, and deck 1 is your cash in the bank. Well, they're all sinking. There is no difference between 1, 2, and 3. So if you think you're safe in stocks, which I think is what people are trying to safe haven into stocks, you're not, because the stocks are still badly valued. The stocks are still valued in dollars. And even though Tesla's $400 a share, which is total bullshit, that's where the government's putting the money in, not the public. And it's 400 a share, or you got your little evil financial planners or stockbrokers saying, buy Tesla, and the people just follow, are like sheep. They just follow it. They don't have a brain of their own. So that's where you have it. So you need to get into gold. Gold and silver is your only lifeboat. You can't go into Bitcoin and think that's it, because it's $90,000. When the dollar goes out, Bitcoin goes to zero, or Bitcoin might go to zero earlier, because what'll happen with all these non-dollar assets, we'll call them. So this is the paper. All the assets that are not paper, like stocks, bonds, real estate trust, and Bitcoin, and even the collectibles, all will go to zero, all of it. So, but you're going to use it to, I need money to eat. I need, this is going down. So you start, if you need money, you start selling your stocks, you start selling your bonds, you start selling your Mahomes cards, you sell your Bitcoin. That's, your assets are sold to get more dollars to do that. And as we saw in Nazi Germany, the Reichsmark lost all its value so badly, they were wallpapering their walls with it. It had no, you needed a wheelbarrow to get milk, you got a problem. And so if you were living then, you would have taken your stocks or your bonds or sold your house to get money to eat. That's the primary thing, is you need to eat. And then you need some place to live so you can stay warm and things like that. So that's really everything in dollars. This goes to zero, and this goes to zero, and Bitcoin goes to zero, and your stocks go to zero, because they're all measured in dollars, except for gold and silver, which doesn't need to be. It is measured in dollars, but doesn't need to be. It's just the way the system is. Everything's measured in dollars, even your toy trains and your vintage toys. That's what it is. But it's just fiat money. It's not gold and silver. There's a big difference, because you can't print gold and silver. That's just where it blows my mind how stupid these guys are. They'll say, well, it's God's money, or this is, it can't be printed. Why are they so afraid to say that you can't print gold and silver? That's why it's the perfect investment, and you can't lose with it, because they can't print it. Why don't they get that? It's such a simple concept. And I just, or alligators. Well, the China's not, they're not buying gold, they're selling dollars. That has to be the stupidest analogy I've ever heard in my life. No, when I go to the store to buy gold and silver, I am using dollars to buy gold and silver. It's very simple. So I really don't get it. Could you say that the dollar is backed by debt and Bitcoin? Well, because Bitcoin uses dollars, they are backed by debt, and the dollar, of course, is backed by debt. Again, it's what the government is saying, right? It's a Federal Reserve note, and the Fed guarantees it's worth $20, but they don't guarantee that $20 will buy you a can of tuna fish. That's what they don't guarantee, but they do guarantee. So I think what they're guaranteeing is, if you go to Target or you go to Kroger's, that they have to take it. That's the Federal Reserve. We don't go to the Federal Reserve. we don't really go to a bank, but if we go to Target or Kroger's, what they're guaranteeing is they'll take it. And that's why Bitcoin's different, because the Federal Reserve's not guaranteeing Bitcoin. And, from what I hear, try to cash out of your Bitcoin, it's a problem. You're going to get 1099. That's why the price is so high. And then it has to go to your bank. And then you got to get it out of the bank, which you're not going to do. The banks are in big trouble because of these commercial loans and the regular loans. So that's what's happening then. Howard, the ladies are calling you. No, that was something else. I haven't heard from Daria today. She's been sick. Her and her daughter her daughter's got tonsillitis. She's got a flu. So I'm hoping she's good. I did tell her the bad news that my job was eliminated, but I still get a couple checks. And I said, don't worry, I'll still be able to help you out a little bit. That's why I got money in the safe. That's why I got gold and silver. That's why I got my homes card. So I got a lot of assets. I'm not worried. Hopefully I'll get another job soon, but I don't know in this economy. I got to teach somewhere where I can, just have a class and make some money there. Wouldn't a worldwide currency collapse lead to social chaos? Well, we are in the middle of a worldwide currency collapse. However, BRICS is going to replace it with gold to not have that. Will there be social chaos? Well, if you can't eat, what are you going to do? So you're going to go to people who have money and steal it. Well, they're not coming here. They're going to go to the jewelry stores and the banks. Those are where the problems are going to be, because they know they have gold. If you looked at my apartment, you wouldn't know that I had gold. However, if you go to, like, there's Tapper's jewelry store a mile away, well, they know they have the gold and diamonds and money. My coin store is a jewelry store. It's a jewelry coin store. And, they lock up everything every night, but basically I'm not sure if they understand, I'm sure they understand security. So the social unrest is going to be two things. Like in Sri Lanka, they all went to the president's house and jumped in his pool, and he had to leave the country because they have death threats. Well, that's what they're going to march on Washington as if they fucked up. They should mark on the Federal Reserve, because they're the ones responsible for fucking up and printing the money to death. That's who, basically you need to go to JP Morgan and go, what the fuck are you doing? The bullion banks are at fault. They're playing all these paper games with derivatives. Those are the guys at fault. So that's really what the problem is, but nobody recognizes it but us. As I say in my game, you're looking for the professor, and you found him. And he's an Austrian who can explain how to win the game, which is get out of this. You win the game by getting out of this, because this is worthless, and getting into gold and silver. You win, because they can't inflate the gold and silver. So the people in charge, the government, can't fuck you over with gold and silver. Now, I'm not sure about platinum or palladium. Can you go to Kroger's with platinum? You can't go with gold right now, so I don't know if you're going to go with platinum. It's very rare. I know China is involved with it too. Do you sell it at the coin store? I mean, I could ask my guy next time I go, do you have platinum and palladium? I think he's got platinum coins or something besides gold and silver. I think it's platinum. And they sell for the same price as gold, I believe. So as long as you have him to buy it, then you're okay. And the question is going to be, what do we sell it for? We don't want the fiat money. It's currency, but that to me is money. It's the medium of exchange. I can get paid in it, and I can go shopping with it. To me, that's what money is. The barter systems, when you use the Mahomes card or the Rolex to buy things, or the Mantle card or Willie Mays, that's what barter is. You're not using money to make transactions, right? So I go to a farmer with an ounce of silver, and I say, hey, That kind of is barter now because silver is not really recognized as money to be exchanged. Or I could take this to a farmer and say, I'll give you this Mahomes 50 count, and I want, a month of vegetables or blueberries or something, right? And that would be barter. Is this isn't money, but it has a value. That's what barter is. So silver and gold, technically they're money, and it's not barter. But if they're not recognized as money, then you are bartering the silver. But people are going overboard buying nickels, dimes, and quarters and half dollars that are silver. You don't need to do that. I mean, you get the ounce, and there'll be change. How you get the change, how are they going to set the value? So if we carry out this craziness about having a silver quarter, let's say, how do you know what the value that you're buying is? Because it's not priced in silver. So how do you know if it's fair or not to buy milk and eggs with? So you go to a farmer, and they're selling milk, they're selling eggs, they're selling meat. He has a cow. They're selling vegetables. So how do you know what to pay for it? You don't have a price because you haven't decided on how much the quarter is worth and how much the food is worth. Or you're going to look at the food at what it's priced in this crap, monopoly money. And you're going to say, wait, this is silver. This is not monopoly money. I don't need the price. I need it priced differently. So that's really one of the problems with it. And until it's priced in silver, you're not doing a conversion. Well, an ounce is $30. That's like when I go to the barbecue place. He will take my ounce of silver for ribs for $30, right? He'll give me $30 for it. I go, you think I'm out of my mind? This is $1,000 ounce of silver. The fact that it's paper priced at 30 doesn't mean the real value is 30. But we're clever enough, my class is clever enough to realize the silver is not worth 30. And we don't want to get rid of it for 30. And that's what, as Pat's saying, we're hoping that the silver starts going up because that's what we need. We need the silver to hit physical price. And right now, silver is at paper price, derivative price, which is basically flooding the market because the paper price, there's much more paper ounces of silver than physical ounces of silver, right? We know there's maybe 500 tons of silver. I don't even know. Supposedly there's more gold. There's 200,000 tons of gold. So there's probably not even 200,000 tons of silver. So how do we price it? Well, why do we keep seeing gold go up 28.40, but yet silver's just sitting there? I think it's at 32. Why are we not seeing silver move? Well, we know it's price fixed, but how do you develop the real price of silver? Because it's supposed to be like this. Well, I got this for $1,000. I get a buyer. That's the value of it. It's $1,000. And how do you do gold and silver? It's got to be the same way. I go to the store and he marks it at $200. Do I buy it? Well, once you blow up COMEX and get rid of this $30, then maybe I'll pay $200 for it because I'll still know it's undervalued. So if I go buy silver now, and I could, it's $32 an ounce. He'll mark it up too. It's 34. The guy at the store has no clue what he's got. He's just clueless. And that's what I just shake my head. How can you be at a gold store and not understand that gold and silver are worth 10 times more than what you're selling them for? And in silver's case, it's $1,000. It's not 30 or 300. It's probably just assume 1,000 and it'll get there because that's what physical is and the demand will be there. But when you see it's sitting at 32 and 32 and 32, people will go, one girl at work said, well, I just don't see it. It doesn't move. It's not moving. Well, it's about to move. Right at the point it's going to the moon, you're getting out of it. You just shake your head at these people. You're going, Jesus Christ. Oh, I bet you listen to your financial planner. Yeah, he's saying it's not going to move, so I'm selling it for an annuity at 9%. I'm like, the dollar's about to go out. I just scream at these people. They're so fucking stupid, but they're not stupid. They don't know. And that's what I'm trying to do is explain it. And people like I have my friend in Florida and he won't get rid of his 401k for gold. And I just, I'm like, don't come to me. You're going to go broke because this is monopoly money and you just don't understand it. I see Warren Buffett has like $300 billion and he thinks he's going to buy all this shit until he doesn't realize his money's worthless. This is the beauty of Warren Buffett. Everybody thinks how smart he is. He don't know shit. He doesn't understand economics. You might understand how to buy a million shares of Disney or Coca-Cola and watch it go up, thinking he's a great investor. And he basically Ponzi schemes everybody with his insurance company. But this is the problem. People just don't get. They don't believe that the money can be worthless. They didn't see the Roman Empire, the British, the Spanish, the French. They just went to sleep on all that. They don't see Venezuela or Greece or Sri Lanka or Zimbabwe or Argentina. They just don't recognize it. Or, well, it can't happen to us. We're the reserve currency. Well, yeah, if you print it like that, yeah, it does. And it's about happening to us. They are giving it away for nothing. Well, they're giving it away because it's not at market prices. It's the derivative price, and people are just too stupid to understand what the hell is going on. And if you just don't understand and you're not open-minded to listen to somebody like me who explains what is going on, if you don't want to listen to it, then you're going to be broke. And what happened in 2008? I wasn't in the stock market in 2007, 2008. Because I knew what was happening. When Clinton signed the law in 1997 that anybody could get a mortgage on a house, even with no credit or no income, what were they called? Ninja loans, where no income and whatever. And what do you think's going to happen? So the bank's loaning this money out that the government's guaranteeing. So if your loans go bad, we'll guarantee it. Well, it's the Federal Reserve. The point of the Federal Reserve is to cover all the banks. And so all these banks made incredibly bad, had no choice. They had to loan the money to Willie, who had no money but wanted a house, because that's the American dream. Yeah, but you got to earn the house. You got to go to work, save your money, and then you can buy a house. You can't just get the house. And so that was the problem. So if you understood that, you would never have bought a real estate trust. Or with Madoff, if the interest rates are 3%, 4% return on investment, and he's giving you 15, if that doesn't like register as, whoa, how can he do that? Oh, well, he's really good at picking stocks. I'm really good at picking stocks. I'm really good at betting football. I can't go 100%. It's not going to happen. There's too many elements, too many variables. Gold should be at 100K, at least, because what should happen and what will happen with gold and silver is the Titanic is the frenzy. Once everybody realizes the boat's 80% in the water and we're going under, we got to get the fuck out of here. We got to get into the lifeboats. And that's what we're waiting for with gold and silver. When people start to realize it's not the prices at the grocery stores and the dinners, it's the dollar going out. But how do you realize that? That's really the problem. How do you know it's the dollar going out and not the prices going up? Because you got to understand that they're printing the dollar to death. You got to understand a $36 trillion debt you can't pay back. And if you could just print 36 trillion, they would have. If we had gold, they would have made gold 50,000 an ounce, and we got 8,000 tons, and we're going to pay off the debt. But they don't, because they don't have it. And this is the problem, right? You don't realize that gold, and then it's still kept by JP Morgan and derivatives. Once the derivative blows up, then yes, I think we'll be near 100K. But I don't know that we'll ever get to it, because I think when we're growing, it's 50, 60, the dollar goes out. And that's my point. We won't see 100K for gold, because there won't be dollars to price it in. Gold then gets priced by itself. So you're going to walk into a Mercedes dealer with an ounce of gold. There's a $90,000 Mercedes. You're going to give him the ounce of gold for the Mercedes, and he will take it, because there's no more money to how can he sell it, right? He can't take the dollar, because the dollar doesn't exist anymore. It's broke. And that's what everybody's not realizing, from the dealers to the grocery stores to the restaurants, to all these businesses. They don't understand. They're looking at dollars, but the dollar is worthless. So I made a comment yesterday, and I don't know if this is why I was let go, but I said to some lady who I didn't know who it was, we're just waiting for coffee. She says, well, you can only spend what you bring in. I said, well, people do go, on credit because of the inflation, which went way over her head. But, I kind of explained to her, if I was in charge, I would be selling the dollars for gold, because the dollars are going down and gold's going up. But yeah, if I lost my job for that and they're just saying it was eliminated, fuck them anyway. I don't really care. I'm having such a hard time being as stoic as I am to listen to managers anyway, because it's very hard to listen to people now, because I know I know what I know, and I know I'm smarter than most of the managers, and it's hard to listen to an idiot. So I kind of get closed off. It's like when Jenna kept like Howard and kept being disrespectful to me, I just turned her off. I didn't even say, fuck off. I just took it, and then we're done. So if that's how you're going to talk to me, I don't get talked to that way. And you should know that, Jenna. So that's why, you learn to take it, but you learn to okay, we'll see who wins this game. But I agree, Pat. Gold, well, this is why we buy gold at 2,800. Now it would be 2,950 if I go to the store. That's why, is because we understand it's $100,000 item that we can get for 2,800. It's like, or even silver. I would say silver is at least 3,000. Maybe if you're at 100,000, silver is 10,000. Let's say it's 10 to 1. You can get it for $30. It's ridiculous. But people don't understand your concept that gold should be 100 grand, silver should be 10 grand. Nobody understands that. Now, part of it is because this dollar is worthless. What does €5 buy you? A stick of gum, right? It doesn't buy you what it used to, or our dollar, or our 20. That's the point. This is fucking worthless. This doesn't. I can buy a honey. I can buy a cauliflower and a broccoli is 6 of this, and 2 pounds of hamburger, and there's my $20 of what should have been. Cauliflower and broccoli should be 99 cents. Why are they $2.99 for a bunch? The Titanic moment is coming very fast now. Yeah, and you can see Trump doing these tariffs, and then China is redoing the tariffs, and then Canada, who knows what they're doing. What Trump doesn't get is, he says, well, they don't let us sell cars in Canada. We don't need to sell cars in Canada. We have the big market. But by letting Canada and China and Japan and Germany sell their cars here, it benefits us, because then there's competition. And so Toyota can't sell their car for $60,000 because they're competing with Ford and GM. So they sell it at $25,000 for the Camry. And then I go buy it, and it only costs me 25 grand. That's the point. That's all it costs me. And it's because of competition. And that's what Trump totally doesn't get. Well, we should sell in Canada. No, we shouldn't. We can't compete with them, or we don't need to. We have a big market here. So I don't know what he's so worried about us selling in Canada or selling in China or selling in Germany. He says, well, if you've been in Germany, you don't see Ford and GM. That's because they're pieces of shits. Why would anybody drive? If I live in Germany, I'm driving Mercedes or BMW because I made it and it's a German product and you can't compare it with that. And they probably give them incentives to buy it, right? They probably take 10 grand off if you buy a German car in Berlin, right? So you can't compete there, but that's not your problem. You're trying to help your people by allowing the competition to come in, and then it lowers prices and we win. He doesn't get that concept at all. The Titanic moment's coming. Yeah, you can feel it. Well, you can see gold's already 28.40 on its way. It'll be 3,000 by the end of the month, I believe, because it just keeps going because they're getting out of the shorts and out of the derivatives. They're not keep doing it because they're losing all their money and they're not getting the money in from the commercial real estate and the home real estate loans that they made. So the banks aren't getting the money in. So they can't keep going in derivatives. The bullion banks, Goldman and JP Morgan and those guys, Wells Fargo, I think they're not able to get into those because they're not because they're losing money on the real estate. So they're losing money on the loans. They have less money to go do derivatives and short gold when the demand's so high. Gold's not going down. It'd be like shorting my Mahomes card. There's only 50 of them, and they keep being bought. Now it's 1,000, and now it's 2,000, now it's 3,000. The demand is obviously there. That's what prices tell you. Why would you short this card? Only an idiot would say, well, it's going to go down. No, the demand's there. It's not going down. And that's what gold and silver. There's too much demand to make the price go down. Yeah, the tragedy will be that no one will sell any metal for currency anymore for any price. Exactly. Except for the dealers, right? When I go into my jewelry store, the coin store, it's called Redford Coin. I think coin and jewelry. They sell it. And I just shake my head like, you guys, what are you doing? Well, I got to pay rent. Your jewelry doesn't sell. Maybe you don't have a market for jewelry or your prices are too high. But if you have all this jewelry and all you're selling is your gold and silver, because nobody wants your jewelry because they go to tappers or who's buying jewelry. So what'll happen in the market is you're running out of money because things are costing too much, right? You go to the grocery store and where you would spend 50, you're spending 100. That takes $50 out of your pocket that you might have bought jewelry or silver or other goods. And then your utilities have gone up and, you need clothes or something, or you go to a restaurant and that I got big boys, $17 for a hamburger and a salad. I'm like, or Jet's Pizza, $17 for a pizza with a small pizza with 3 toppings. Yeah, I'm going to go there. So this is the problem. I would short Jets, and I just don't see, big boys staying in business. Who has $17? So you start having less money as things go up, but you need to eat. You need heat and electricity. So as that goes up, that takes money out of your pocket, and that gives you less money. You're lucky if you have a job. I just lost mine. I don't know how long it'll take, but I got Social Security. How long will that stay? Well, with Trump, it'll stay. That'll be the last thing that goes because he knows that's a riot. If he does that, he might as well leave the country because that's where you would have social unrest. If you took care of Social Security, Medicare, stuff like that, you would have a riot at the White House, and so he can't do that for fear of social interaction. The tragedy that no one will sell. Yeah, there's no reason to sell. The only time you would sell is if you had a bill. So if there was something that came up and you needed money that you don't have, you would sell your ounce of gold for the bill that you have to pay. That's the only reason you would sell gold. And that's why I think people are selling. Because when I go to my store, he only has gold that people have sold to him. And that is because they need money for food. So they're selling their assets. Now, the gold people are selling it because they think, oh, gold's at its all-time high. No, paper gold's at its all-time high. Physical gold's nowhere near its all-time high because we don't even know what the all-time high is. Pat's saying 100K for physical gold. These people are selling it for 2,800, now 2,840. But they're selling it, gives him inventory so I can buy it from somebody selling it. And I'd really like to talk to the person and say, hey, you know what? Instead of taking spot, I'll give you $10 over spot. So instead of me paying 100 spot, I only have to pay spot plus 10. The guy takes it because he gets spot plus 10 instead of spot. And we both win. But that's the problem with it. So people really don't have a clue. They don't understand gold. Like I said, I was talking to a guy at the pool, and I never make money in gold. I bought it at 1900. This is years ago. I bought it at 1900 and sold it at 1800. It didn't go up. It didn't go anywhere. And you just totally missed the point of gold. Gold is not a stock. It is not to be, in Egon's case, he's selling it as wealth preservation. You got 100 grand, take it from dollars into gold, and the gold will keep the 100 grand. The dollars will go down. However, it's also an investment. It's also going up. Alligator says it's not an investment. An investor, he thinks it's a stock, and it's not. An investment's an investment. This is an investment. It's not a stock. And you're basically buying an asset. An investment is about something. You invest your money. I don't even know if you're hoping it goes up. It's just you're investing your money in something. So you're investing in gold. Gold is going up. You're also investing in silver, and silver's not yet, but will. So you're basing it on it should go up, just like gold's going up. And that is an investment. However, it's also wealth preservation. If you take 50 grand in cash and fiat monopoly shit, and you buy silver with it, you're not losing in silver. The dollar's going down, and then you're waiting, and then the silver will go up, but you have to wait for it. So that's why I think people buy gold. I can buy 1/10 of an ounce for 300, or I can buy 10 ounces of silver for 300. Well, let's say 3.25. But my gold's going up, right? 2,850, it'll be 3,000, and the silver's still sitting at 30. And that's what you're waiting on with silver. Believe me, if silver finally takes off and I finally see even 500 an ounce, I won't be working again, because I have a lot of silver that is just, I'm not gaining value like I do with gold. The difference in gold is I can't have 1,000 ounces of gold like I could have 1,000 ounces of silver. You can't afford it. I was looking at a ton, and it's 32,000 ounces of gold. A ton is 32,000 ounces. And my goal, jokingly, was to get 1 ton of gold. It'd be 32,000 ounces. And you never have to work again a day in your life. And that's when you maybe sell 1 or 2 and buy a house and buy a car with it and buy your food. But that's really the point of it. It's just, it's going to go because they can't hold the finger in the dike anymore. And that's where people don't understand. How can the dollar lose value? Because if you print it, it loses value. They don't get that. We'll go back to 1923 Germany. What did they do? They printed billions of Bundesmark. They print trillions or billions of them, and then they just lost their value. But wait, they were printing billions of them a day, and they lost their value. Get the correlation. You can't, once the supply is so high, it has no more value. So when you go to the grocery store and they got oranges on sale, and you look, and there's 1 million of them, and they're normally $1.99, and now they're 50 cents, because they're trying to get rid of them. They got so many, they flooded the market. That's why they're so cheap, because you'll buy 4 or 5 of them at 50 cents. At $2, you'll buy 1 or 2. And so you'll see, I saw blackberries 99 cents. So I bought 3 or 4 of them. And that's the point. They're normally $3.99. Oh, at 99, I'll buy it. And they got big shipments in, and that's why they lower the price, because they flooded. But they were trying to sell it, because the goal of a grocery store is to sell their inventory. That's why you don't see Coca-Cola at $10 a bottle, even though the dollar is worth less. If they make it $10 a bottle, nobody will buy it. So they're in a quandary. And the grocery store's in business to buy inventory and sell it. And the market's in business to say, I'm only going to give you this much. It's a fair trade to give you $2 for a 2-liter of Coke, but $2.99. Maybe I'll buy one once a month, but it's too expensive. 99 cents, I would buy more. And that's really the problem when you raise prices, is people don't buy as much because we don't get more money. Our money doesn't grow in value. That's the problem. The government prints more money, and the money is worth less, but they can print more. So the Warren Buffets, who have $300 billion, they don't care. Well, I got all this money. Well, good for you, but you're still in monopoly. You're still playing Monopoly, Warren. This is not worth anything. So you got 360 billion of worthless dollars. Oh, he's so smart. Yeah, he's real smart. Pat Howard, don't worry about the job situation. You're way too valuable to work for idiots. Yeah, that's what I keep saying. I got to teach. I got to just find a way to teach. Anyways, you have a lifeboat because you are king. Well, thank you. I do my best, Pat. Have a look at silver, 1 to 2 more dollars up, and the algos wreck the shorts, and we go limit up. Unstoppable short squeeze with infinite upside. Yeah, I understand. It's going to happen soon. I know it's going to happen. That's why I go buy it at 30. He's only $2 over premium. This is why I buy it at 30. But then I get to the point where I got 700 ounces and I want to buy more gold because gold runs hundreds of dollars and silver goes up $2. The silver will go to 35 and gold will go to 2,800 to 2,900. So I want to have more silver or more gold at this point. And I feel like, well, 700 ounces of silver, I'm okay. If it goes up to $100 an ounce, then I just made $70,000, and then fuck work. I don't have to work. But that's why I buy the gold and silver. And yeah, works very hard. I mean, my boss was from Brazil. You couldn't even understand him half the time. I kind of don't think the Brazilian education is as strong as the Michigan education. I went to Walsh College, a business and accounting school. I didn't even know they had Austrian economics, but I learned it there, and it was a very good teacher, as well as my master's is corporate finance. And so it's hard for me to look at any of these bosses and go that. And at the end, yesterday, the guy reads my thing, and I don't know why he read it, but he read, oh, yeah, you worked at GM, Ford, Mercedes, and financial statement analysis, problem solver. And I looked at him like, yeah, you knew that before. I says, it's all real. It's all true. That's what I did. He says, you want to be a finance manager? And I was ready to correct him saying, no, I changed that. I want to be the CEO now. I want to run the company because I doubt they know competition, substitute goods, and get the money the fuck into gold. I don't know if I could run a business because I would just, let's say I was running GM, I would shut it down. I would take my money that I got. I wouldn't build any more cars. I would take my money and just buy a bunch of gold and just sit and wait. And I'd say, well, when gold goes up, we'll be fine. But why even make a car and compete with it and lose money on it and pay my workers? I'm shutting you down and taking every nickel I have, and it's going into gold and silver. That's how I would run the company, and we would make a fortune. I know we would make a fortune. It's not even, why even go through the pain of having a company? So it's just crazy. But yeah, no, I'm watching. Let's see what we're doing in gold and silver as we've now gone to noon. All right, so silver is up 66 cents. Here's my point. Silver's up 66 cents to 32.26, and gold's up $23 at 28.40. So there's our 10 o'clock drop, went down to 23.36, and now it's back to 28.40 or 28.36, now up to 28.40 and 30. Now I bought my gold at, let's say, 1,700 and 1,800. I bought a lot of it 3-4 years ago. Now I've made, let's say I bought it at 1,800. I made $1,000 an ounce. That's a good return. Am I looking to sell? Hell no. Because I know the 2,800's paper, and I know it's going much, much higher. I know it's, when the paper goes out and it's physical, it'll be at least $20,000 an ounce physical. At least that's conservative. So why would I want to sell it at 2,800? Like I said, if it's critical and I need money, something happened, I would sell 1 ounce and get about $3,000 and use it to pay whatever I did if I'm out of cash. That's why I leave cash in my safe in case I need it. I don't have to sell my gold. That's the method. That's the mentality of the professor. So I want some cash so I don't have to sell my gold. The silver I'm not selling because it's only $30 an ounce. I'm better selling 1 ounce of gold, but that's it. So that's why I buy the gold, because I just bought a Cougar Ant for $2,700 2 weeks ago. It's worth $2,900 now. I just made $200 in 2 weeks, but that's why I do it. Do you think? So let's look at that as an analogy. So I bought a 1 ounce Cougar Ant, $2,700. What do you think the value of this is? So I had $2,700. I handed him $2,700 for the gold. What is the value of this? Do you think this went up or down? We know it went down because they keep printing it. And there's no way this goes up. It goes up versus the other dollars. That's what, like when you see the dollar index and the dollar's up. The dollar's not up in value. It's up versus the other currency that's been printed even more, like the British pound. So this has gone from 99% gone to 99.5% gone. This could not have gone up in value because they keep printing it. So the value has to go down. That's the point. And the silver or the gold, they're not printing, goes up, right? So automatically you make money after a month of getting rid of this and getting into the gold. But the problem, nobody realizes that this is losing value because they can't see it. And when they can't correlate the price, oh shit, tuna fish is now $5 a can, or Cheerios is now $6 for a box. They don't correlate that the dollar's gone down, and that's why my Cheerios or my tuna is more expensive. They just think they raised the prices, but it didn't. This lost value, so this has gone down. This is, like I said, you'll be lucky if you get, like, you can't buy a coffee with this. You'll be lucky to buy a little lollipop that used to sell for $0.10 with this $5. So these keep dropping in value, but they're not seen because nobody's valuing the dollars. So people don't understand the dollars are going out, but we do, because we understand that the prices are the dollars going down. That's what we understand. So if you trade it for gold and silver, the gold and silver is going up and up and up. Like even today, but there's a scorecard for the gold and silver, right? Gold, 28.40, but that's not even physical, that's paper. So you're seeing a scoreboard for gold and silver, which you don't see in the dollar. So when I tell you to get the hell out of your 401k, or Luke's friend, he's got $4 million in 401k, and I say, get him out, it's monopoly money. It's losing value. What does $4 million buy you? Now, it's worth more than 100,000. It's a lot of monopoly money, but it's all going down because they keep printing it. That's why Trump's doing his tariffs. He needs to get more money in, and he can't tax us because that'll take money out of the private sector, and that's how it grows. You need money in the private sector, me and you, to grow the economy and to get out of debt and everything else, but you can't. That's why he doesn't just print $36 trillion and say, there's the debt. It's gone, because it's not worth anything. You can't do that. Plus, the people you owe the debt to, the Chinese, the Japanese, Russians, Germans, France, Italy, they don't want it. They don't want dollars. They don't print me 36 trillion and try to pay me off of the T-bills and the debt that's the T-bills. And what are they doing? China and Japan and Germany, they're all sending it back. We don't want it. They're cashing out and buying gold with it. Gold because it's limited and because it's highly demanded, and it is money. So that's basically what people don't understand, is the dollar is going down. The Titanic, you can see, you're on the boat, you see the water level rise, you know you're fucked. You know you have to get in the lifeboat. But you can't see the dollar losing the value, so you don't know to get into the lifeboat. That's the real problem. And that's what needs to be addressed with people. So all you can do is just, we can only say it, but we can't. People like my friend is a smart guy. He's a CPA, and he's totally lost. I'm not comfortable getting out of my 401k. He's afraid of paying the tax on it. Well, when it goes to zero, then what are you going to do? Or you could have gold going up, but you choose not to. So what are you going to do with it? So that's about all you can say to him. There's a point you just can't help. People are just too stupid to understand, not open-minded enough to understand. And I don't know why. I mean, it's a simple premise. If you print, it's worth less. If you eat, 10 chocolate cakes, you're going to gain weight. That's pretty much, it's A gives you B. You print, the value goes down. You eat the cake, your stomach goes out. And it's pretty much what it is. So I was going to do a little bit on that. What I was talking about yesterday. Let's see. So we'll just do a little bit. Periods of time. Who was the number one power? 1500 to 16 was Spain, was the number one power in the world. They got all the gold from the Incas in Mexico. University of Salamanca, as I told yesterday. Do the Indians have souls? Yes. Thus, they outlaw slavery. Church treats the Indians well. The Spanish government treats the Indians poorly. Spanish missionaries teach the Indians reading and writing. This is all the University of Salamanca. The monks were the professors of the universities, opposed to mercantilism or socialism. Everybody has a right to private property, free trade, no slavery, written constitution, no inflation, money is wealth, which seems to have gotten lost here, low taxes and little government. That is how you want to run a country or your house or anything. That's how you would do it. That'll work anywhere you want in anything you do. If you're running a business, this is how you treat your employees. That's the whole thing to it. Mercantilism is state control. Inflation kills Spain, but then that's socialism, mercantilism. University of Salamanca was free market. Holland was the number one power from 1600 to 1650, so it goes from Spain to Holland. Funny how it jumped to some other country, not just went away. The Dutch, the world shippers, hauled freight, natural law school. Amsterdam, the World Financial Center. New York, the Dutch East and West Indies, Cape of Good Hope. So because of the shipping, Amsterdam takes over as the number one power, but only until 1650, where I would assume inflation takes over. I know they were using tulips as their money, but until there was a drought or a heavy winter, and then they didn't have tulips and they were fucked. That's why you go to money, because this is paper. You can put it in a bank, you can put it in a wallet, and now we can use it with electric transfers. I love when I go to my meat grocery store and they go, well, you can't use paper dollars, only electric. And I go, what's the difference? It's money. I'm still using money. Then we go 1650 to 17. Well, really, I got till 1815. The France was the number one power. France Cultural Center, France language of the world, computers. Wow, 1650. World's largest population, science was number one, and they had the shipping. And that's where Les Miserables the play comes from. Probably 1815 in France. They're down, there's hyperinflation, nobody can eat. That's what Les Miserables is. The French. All right. France, physiocrats, they adopted the ideas of the school of Salamanca. Oh, amazing. Low taxes, gold standard, limited government, a constitution, and all of a sudden they're number one, France. But what happens? Why does it end? Napoleon goes to war. Wars are expensive. They lose to Russia at Waterloo, and then all their money went to the war. Why the fuck are you going to war? You're number one. Why would you go to war in Russia in the wintertime? What are you thinking about? Why would you do that? And that's always, look at us. We're at war. Why are we at war? Why are we at war with countries we're not even at war with? Well, we'll have Ukraine fight the Russians. That'd be like us being a football team. Well, we're Michigan. We'll have Michigan State play Notre Dame. We won't play them. They'll play, but it'll be Michigan. Then we get to 1776. U.S. fought England over mercantilism, which is socialism. U.S. arguments, Salamanca, natural law, physiocrats. All these ideas crystallize in the U.S. today. So we became number one because we use the Salamanca rules: free trade, gold, low taxes, low government, except we forgot to stick with the Constitution. That's why we're fucked. If we had the game plan, we had the recipe, just stick with it. Stay with gold. Why do we need a central bank? Stay with gold, stay with low taxes and low government and free trade. And here comes Trump. Well, we're going to do tariffs. Number one, free trade. What are you doing, man? Why do you need to? Well, we can get money because they need us. They don't need us because our dollar is worthless. Nobody wants to trade with us. Europe's gone. The euro is gone. That's the one thing Alligator said today is the euro's gone because they keep printing it. But nobody can correlate this. Nobody can correlate the euro's gone because they printed it to death. Nobody correlates the USD is down because it's printed to death. Or China and Japan are gone because they printed it to death. And that's what happened to Venezuela, Argentina, Sri Lanka, Greece, and Zimbabwe. They printed it to death because nobody's using gold, which is the whole point of the University of Salamanca. Where is it? Number 5, no inflation, money is wealth, gold. Everybody doesn't read that or they can't figure it out. I don't know. It's insanity. Pat, after $50, I'm guessing silver will leap by $10 in increments or faster. I'm not sure it'll stop at 50. I think it goes right to 100, but I think it'll just run like gold is. It'll just 10, 20, and I think you'll start having $40, $50 days, not 40, 50 cent days. I agree with you, but it's related because COMEX is doing derivatives to keep the price down, and that's what we've got to get rid of COMEX. Once we get it to a free market, you'll see it go $50 a day. That's the problem. COMEX, it's not free market pricing. It's not me and you buying it from the coin store, putting the price. It's the derivatives by JP Morgan putting the price. So no matter what, me and you could go buy 100 tons of it and pay $62 for the ton, and it wouldn't move the price because the price is not real. It's the derivative price, and that's the problem with it. Silver's about to make a big move to 40 this week, perhaps. Well, I don't know. Again, it's when does we kill JP Morgan? Now, about your $2,900 prediction on silver. I know you were looking at, what is it, PAC or something like that. And I started looking at it as some crypto thing, PAC, PAG, and it's bullshit. It's like an ETF. It's not real. I did notice it at 2,900 Sunday night. And then when the COMEX opened, all of a sudden it went down to 20. It went down $100 at open. I'm going, what the fuck? And then I started reading up on it. It's an ETF. You don't get the gold. It's stored in a vault in London. Only London doesn't have any more gold, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's some sort of crypto thing, but you take ownership, but it's not. But you don't own it. It's like an ETF. You get the physical, but you really don't get the physical, and that's the problem. So don't get into this PAG. It's supposed to be like crypto backed by gold, but it's the same. It's an ETF. Stay away. Buy physical. Put it in your hands. Put it in your safe. Do not buy this. It's a Ponzi scheme. So I don't know, Pat. The only way silver makes a big move is we get rid of ETF, or somebody, China, Russia, or Dubai, have a silver physical silver exchange, and they market 40. Otherwise, it's not moving until we kill COMEX. They're the bad guys, so we got to kill them. Once they're killed, yes, we'll see silver at 100. But until then, it's not moving, so everybody gets disappointed. Well, silver's not going to move because it's price fixed. Of course it's not going to move. But don't be surprised. And this means it's the time to buy. Even though we have a lot, we buy more because we've got to get out of dollars. As we keep getting dollars in, we then go buy silver with it. So I don't know. Tell me when COMEX is blowing up, and I'll tell you when silver hits 100. But it won't hit 40 until we get rid of COMEX, because they're the price people. So that was 1776. The U.S. was crystallized and gold, and we fucked up because we had the recipe and we changed the recipe. 4 revolutions: the Industrial Revolution, steam engine, mobile power, coal and wood gains power. Now we can go faster than a horse, and trains, cheap transportation, mass production, mass markets. The economies grow all over the world. Fast and efficient. Now water, we can travel the ocean quickly. Fast trade, steam engine, watt. Age increases from 24, the life expectancy. July 4, 1776, the American Revolution, U.S. independence, political revolution. Government is local and limited. King is not law. Everybody wants freedom. Other countries. So the King of England was running the U.S. Well, he's in England. We're not in England. That's what the American Revolution was not. So we don't need a king who's in England running us, which so we ran ourselves. But knowing that the king was there, we knew we didn't want a king, or we wanted limited power. We never wanted a king controlling. So that's why a lot of the things back then were limited power. But now they go to a king and a power and a president, and so now it's corrupt politicians. And this is what we didn't want. 3, Adam Smith wrote The Wealth of Nations. Smith takes the ideas from Salamanca and creates a system. He takes on mercantilism. Money is a source of wealth. He says production is the source of wealth. More efficient the division of labor, the more productive the people will be. I'm in finance. I'm more productive doing that than just doing nothing. You paint, you put drywall up, you build, you're a bricker, you clean houses, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer. So the more division of labor, the better. Adam Smith. Adam Smith, Division of Labor and Productivity, the doctrine of the invisible hand. God, you got to love this guy. People should be free to make money by producing what the people want. You're doing what's demanded. So in other words, I'm a financial analyst. Do you need it? Oh, you do? Okay. and then you're going to pay me, and I'm going to produce because that's what you need. That's why I'm a little surprised with the thing yesterday where my job was eliminated. You're not even using me, but the ignition was so small. I don't know what you didn't need me. And my boss did not delegate. So he was really a bad boss. He was really just a financial analyst. You didn't need me and him. And he doesn't know how to manage. So what's he going to do? As supply, what to do, people by producing what the people want, the demand, by self-interest. Supply goes up, prices go down because there's more supply. Therefore, if supply goes down, prices go up. Best way to spread wealth, increase in productivity, a decrease in prices, because you could do things faster and cheaper, then the prices come down. Best for the public. See, Adam Smith's about the public. The Keynesians and the communists are about the government, and that's the difference. We want Adam Smith because that's best for us. Tariffs are not best for us; they're best for the government because it jumps our cost up. Now we're going to pay $50 for tennis shoes. We're paying $30 for. Thanks very much for tariffs. The best for the public to promote the common good. The economy is automatic. We'll find where we need it and we'll go. So if you need computer people, okay, computer people you'll get degrees in computer. Where 50 years ago, you didn't need computers because it wasn't even existing. So you'd work in other ventures. The laissez-faire, leave it alone, keep the government out of the way, prices drop, standard of living goes up, free trade. So we always want laissez-faire, leave it alone, keep the government out. We don't need regulations. We're self-regulating. So if I'm selling, I'm selling wallets and Pat's selling wallets, we compete, we regulate ourselves. If I start doing something wrong, you buy Pat's wallet. If Pat starts doing something wrong, you buy my wallet. We don't need the government to do anything. Keep the regulations away. What you need is just let me and Pat compete, and then you'll buy at the best price, the best quality. And that's up to us to make the best quality at the best price, so you buy it. That's an economy. The fourth revolutions, the communist revolution, 1776 to 1990. Isaac Weishaupt, he systemized things, end private property, no family influence, no religion or God, no monarchy. This is communism. It's an Amway system where nobody knows what's going on. KGB and CIA use this system. Person on top controls person on the bottom. They don't know the purpose of the system. And that's your CIA for you, and your KGB, which is now the FSB. And we got one more. All right, one more page. The French Revolution ends mercantilism, ends socialism. 1789, France is the number one economy. France went to war a lot. 65% went to interest on the national debt. National debt. How about that? They went broke. So wait, France was number one. They went to war a lot. Sounds familiar. 65% went to interest on the debt. They went broke. Even though they were number one and they had gold, they ran their debt up because of wars, because wars are not revenue. Wars are all expense. You got to feed the soldiers. You got to buy tanks and tanks and planes and cars and weapons and bullets, artillery for that. So that's all very expensive. That's the problem. So they went broke. Tax rate 50% on individuals. Government went bankrupt. So they tried to tax their way out of it, but you can't. I mean, people just, I can give you 50%, then you kill the economy. So if I give you 50% government, I only have 50% left to go to Target and go to the grocery stores and go. So all those businesses are going to shrink because you can't buy as much. So I got to start laying off people. And then it ends up where you have less tax because there's less people working because you fucked it up with this 50% tax. What you should have done is tax at zero and just charge the sales tax if you needed to, or shrink your government. That's what Trump's trying to do, is shrink the government. That'll never happen. Estates General Constitutional Convention, Talleyrand, print up paper money versus church land. Church owed 30% of land, started French Revolution. Printed money went up. Oh, guess what? So did inflation, and then so did prices. Basically, because you printed the money, so the money lost value, and it took more money to buy your apples and oranges. Oh, and there goes France from being number one to not being it. Robespierre, wage and price controls, another fucking idiot. Reign of Terror, chopped off heads, the guillotine. So you had Talleyrand and Robespierre, two fucking idiots, ruining a country, and now France has been ruined ever since. And this happened in 1789. Now here comes Napoleon, a dictator, no more paper money, puts France on the gold standard, lowers taxes to 15%. Smart guy, wins battles, reinforced trade restrictions, and then he finds Waterloo in 1815 again. Why are you going to battle? Mercantilism dies with Napoleon defeat. And there goes. So that was in 1815. And so he was smart enough to go back on the gold standard and lower taxes. He was half right. The problem is Waterloo. Why did you keep fighting? You didn't need to if you had the gold and everything, but he was smart enough to say we need to go back on gold. So I guess the war ends it. I don't really get an answer of, well, if you did that, why did they go out? But I think it's the defeat of Waterloo. 1815, Latin Monetary Union establishes the gold standard. 1821, England adopts gold, and guess what happened? They're the number one team. They're the Alabama of the time. And I don't know where my notes are. That was 616, and this was, I don't know. I think that's in here. So England, we know, was number one because they had the gold, and it lasted until 1913 or whatever. After World War I, they needed things for World War II, and we made them pay us in gold. That's how we got our 8,000 tons. We stole it from the English by building them goods and services. Outline the dynamics of inflation, and then we get into three types of inflation, which we know. It's the you could have specie inflation, which is too much gold, which is very rare. Then you have central bank printing money, and then you have the fiduciary, where the regular banks print money, and that's where you get inflation from. Printing money devalues it. People borrowed from London, and London invested in other countries. WW1 ends classical liberalism in 1914. And then from 1914 to 1965, interventionism. Government intervenes in the economy, progressive income tax. The Fed came in due to political factors. Some groups favored over others. Government tried to regulate the economy instead of free market. And of course, you know what happens. Spanned by two wars and the Great Depression, government expanded but never shrank. Benefit with contribution. 1965 to now, era of entitlement. People think they're entitled to the benefit. Healthcare and some other Medicare's, welfare, stuff like that. LPJ started this, a real idiot. Essence, entitled to benefit without contribution. That's the age of entitlement. So they think they're entitled to the benefit without contributing to it. So at least Social Security, I paid into it. So for me to get out, I paid in is fine. But other things where you don't pay in, you shouldn't get a benefit. Who pays for the benefit? Oh, the people working. You steal from them to pay for these guys. That's the problem with it. So president and Congress are just fundraisers. I love that. All right, we'll get into the third test tomorrow. Continental Congress, and then we really get into U.S. in the beginning. So that's where everybody becomes number one, is because they have gold, low taxes, limited government. But it must bring in the economy gets so strong that I liken it to the Hobbit. What happened? The dwarves found gold and they kept digging and they got more and more gold, and it invited the dragon, who realized they had all this gold, who came for the gold. So you invited him. And I think that's what happens with countries. They go to the gold standard and they go to the free trade and the low taxes, and they become number one, and they're very powerful and really big. And then here comes the dragons, the socialists, the communists, who want to give away the money to the people without doing anything. Just, oh yeah, we'll cover this, we'll cover that, and that's the problem. And so you have these governments that lose track of what was their strength, and then they end up going down. And that's why all these are number one, and then they're not number one. If I'm number one, that's it. I don't need anything. But that's the problem. So it's like us having all this gold, and then we start getting out of gold. We start using the gold to spend. That's what happened to Spain. They had all the gold, and then they started spending the gold, but they didn't learn productivity. That's why Spain collapsed. They never learned productivity because they never earned the gold. They stole it from the Incas and the Mayas in Mexico. They shipped it from Mexico to Spain. They have all this gold and silver, but they didn't earn it and they didn't learn it, and they never increased their worth. So when the gold and silver went, they didn't know how to keep it, and then they didn't get more productive with it. That's why they collapsed. French and England, they earned the gold, and so they knew what to do with it. But it ends up where there's always wars. I don't know why you need to go to war. You have the money. Why do you need to go to war? It's bizarre, but that's what ends up happening. So that's where we'll leave it. I don't want to go too long because I don't want people to look at it and go, it's 2 hours. I don't want to listen to it. All right. So here we are at 1241, gold up to 2843. So on Friday, it hits 2,800, ends at 28.15, ends at 27.98. Today's Tuesday. We're already up 24 yesterday, 24 today. We're at 28.43. We're going to end the day at 28.60, 28.70 because we've already had our 10 o'clock drop that went from 28.45 to 28.37. It was only $8, and now we're back up. So we will definitely see 28.50 and 60 because the U.S. are the ones that short it, but yet we didn't short it much. So now and then China has been shorting it a little, but probably ending. And then silver 32.28, up 68 cents. So I do believe silver will keep going, but there is the derivatives that's going to bankrupt all the banks, all the bullion banks, because they will have to pay for their derivatives. They'll have to pay for it, and that's the problem. And when they have to pay for it, they're in big trouble. So look for, if that happens, the banks are going to start collapsing because the central bank won't be able to help Goldman Sachs and Chase and the other bullion banks because they don't have the money to do it. The central bank's broke. Now, they won't tell you they're broke, but we know they're broke. Again, we have a $36 trillion debt. We have $1 trillion to pay a quarter on that debt. So we're already fucked, right? And where do we get the trillion from? We'll print it. Well, what happens when you print it? Oh, yeah, it loses value. And that's where we're caught. And as I just read, what happened to France? They had to pay the debt on the war. They went bankrupt. And that's what we're doing. And then we keep ignoring it. Trump's like, oh, we'll do tariffs. That'll get us the money. And you're like, hey, you want to get it, go gold. So you better buy a whole lot of 400 tons from other countries. You bought it from England. Where are you going to find it from? Canada doesn't have it. You don't have it. And none of the BRICS countries are going to sell you their gold. France and Italy and Germany have a lot of gold that they don't tell you about. They're not going to sell it to you. They know how valuable, especially Germany, knows how valuable gold is, and so does France and Italy. They are not giving you their gold so you can go on the gold standard and you can pay your way out. So I don't know if they want the U.S. to collapse or not, but that's what's going to happen. So it's definitely game on with these other countries aren't stupid and they realize, well, wait a minute, you don't have any gold and we do. Well, let's hold it because our gold's going to save us. Let's see. I'm still here. Love your lessons. You are a great professor. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. I thought you were still here. The central banks can't help because they have no silver bars. I wouldn't be surprised. I know Russia does, and I know China does. I don't know about India. I don't know if they have gold jewelry and silver jewelry. I would assume, and then Saudi Arabia should have been buying it, and Dubai definitely, and South Africa definitely. So don't be surprised if China and I know Russia's been buying silver, and I know China has. So don't be surprised that they do it. But why would the central banks help us? Especially the ones in BRICS. They don't want to help us. That's why they're going into BRICS. They want to get away from the dollar. So there's going to be a big shift away from the dollar into into the metals, and that's where BRICS is coming. So they'll wait a little bit longer. We'll be collapsed, and then BRICS says, "Hey, we got gold. We're going to have a gold-backed currency," because they're afraid if they do it now, it'll wipe out the dollar. And they don't want to be responsible because they want to show that the U.S. fucked themselves up all by themselves. And they certainly aren't really in a hurry. They have the gold. They use the gold. So I don't think they're too much in a worry for it. But we'll see. So my guess is by if you go on 10, 11 o'clock tonight, because gold keeps going, only Friday, it somehow, for some reason, ends Friday night. And then starts up Sunday night. So I don't know why Friday night, Saturday it doesn't. But so you're looking at that. But look at silver, still 32.26. I could go buy it for 34.26. So I might go buy. I do get paid Thursday, my last full check. But then now I'm back to Social Security on Social Security next Monday. So with this last check, I'll probably, I've been paying more on my credit cards, but now that's out the window. I'll pay less on the credit card and rather go buy silver and gold than the credit card because I don't know how long the banks are going to last. So if I owe Chase money on a credit card and they're not there, I guess I don't have to pay them. Or if the dollar's not there, then how do you want me to pay you? And we are not going CBDCs. Alistair Alligator talked about it today and said that's not there won't be CBDC. So I don't see it. Nobody wants them. And again, it's like electric cars. These are called male investments, by the way. Male investments is an economic term, which means nobody wants it. You built something not because of demand. I don't know why you built electric cars, but nobody wants it. So you end up making these electric cars and then you can't sell them. And then the company goes broke because you just spent all this money on things that aren't going to sell. And that's basically the problem. So that's where we're at. 2 hours. It's more than I wanted but this is all economics, so I don't mind. But the central banks have silver and they have gold. And believe me, they ain't giving it up. Just like us, we're not selling it at 28.42. You're not getting my gold for 28.42 unless I absolutely have to have it. Now the people that are selling it to my jewelry store, gold store, I assume they need the money or they're just idiots going, oh, it's at its all-time high. Now's a good time to sell it. And it's like, dude, it's not at its all-time high. It's at its all-time paper high. And that's what I'm trying to tell you with silver. It's the all-time high in paper, but not in physical. You must understand the difference. We have physical for a reason, and we don't even know what the value of our gold and silver in physical is. And I'm saying it's at least 10 times. Silver is probably at least 20 times. Silver's got to be $700-800 easy physical. Gold, we know, is about 20 grand physical. If you just let it go and let it be priced in physical and had a free market. That's what I'm saying it'll be. This is paper gold. This is derivative. This is not real. They're keeping their price down. I have no idea why. People don't even understand it. They're not going to get into gold and get out of dollars. Everybody's brainwashed into buying stocks or putting their money in the bank or buying real estate as the answer. And they're all going to get fucked in all those things. You have to get into gold and silver. You got to get into the lifeboat or you're dead. It's as simple as that. Understand physical gold is not being priced. There is no price in it. That's what you need to know. Anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to go. I got to go get some avocados and I'm going to go swim now. No work because the position's been eliminated, which I have no idea what really happened. And being the way I am, I don't trust anything they say. I don't trust that it was as simple as they eliminated the position. Not on a Monday at 2:30, and you don't want me to finish the day. That's a personal slander that, you just want me to leave because I said buy gold. I don't know. It's so stupid. But I don't buy any of it that, if it was being eliminated, you would have known about it. As far as you knew, Friday, I wasn't being eliminated, and you didn't tell me. And then Monday, and it's like, fine, whatever. It doesn't. The only thing that bothers me is I was about to buy more gold next week. That's the only thing. Next Thursday, I would have bought another 1.5 ounces of gold. That's what bothers me, not that the job. I mean, whatever. I might sell the beanies, and I got some graded cards that are PSA 9s that I can get a couple $100 for. I got a Bobby Orr. I don't know what I can get for it. Anyway, that's what's going on. So we will see, and I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll probably do a short one on the Super Bowl and then one on economics as we end the football. It's winding down. My guess on that is 30-27 Kansas City. After analyzing analyzing the game, the defense, the offense, Mahomes and Hurts, Kansas City will win, and it should be a close game. Philly's got enough power to keep close. I don't see a blowout. Anyway, so have a good day. I hope to hear from Daria today, so she knows I'm not working, but I still get a full check, so I will still pay her rent on Thursday, and then I'll just have to cut down on her food. But I told her as long as I'm working, I could give you more, but now I'm not. And we just move on, and we'll see if we get another job or whatever. Otherwise, we'll try to teach, and we'll try to go from there. All right. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. All right. Thanks very much. Bobby Bo, I'm ending. What's up, Bobby Bo? So my job was eliminated yesterday. That's what I'm doing here. And it was weird because they told me at 2:30. All of a sudden, he calls me in with HR, which he's never done. And he says, well, we're eliminating your job. Or the job's been eliminated. I says, what? When you want me to finish the week, finish the day? No, you can leave right now. And I'm like, what the fuck? So you're welcome, Pat. You have a nice day. Go buy some more gold and silver. Yeah, right now, just keep buying silver. I mean, that's a no-brainer. 32.25. Gold 28.42 right now at 12.53. So that's right on. when is the next class? Well, probably tomorrow, but I'll stay on a few minutes with you, Bobby Bo, just to say hi. We'll have to meet at Capitol Grove soon because we're at 28:42 and it'll be 29 probably by Friday. It just keeps moving up. But again, so now I'm not working, so now I'm back with like a 10:30 class. I think I started this at 10:30, a little bit after that, and basically, I still get a check. I still have Social Security, so and I got the gold, and I got my Mantle card, so I'm not too worried. And the only problem I have is I was going to buy gold next week, but I'm not going to get a full check next week, unfortunately. I hate that because just as I'm like getting my new budget and saying, okay, now I can start hammering the credit cards and start doing that. And then boom, I lose it. There goes my budget again. I don't understand it. I do good work, but this company, the boss was extremely weak. And, I don't want to blame him, but he didn't know what he was doing. He's in over his head. He's from Brazil. He has no way, he can't even speak good English, and he has no way to communicate or delegate. He couldn't do that. So I'm sitting there. I don't know what to do. So I'm bored, and who knows? Yeah, they called it a layoff, but they wanted me to leave at 2:30 yesterday. They didn't say, why don't you work the week off? 2 weeks notice would have been nice so I could start preparing for interviewing. So you basically just screw me out of the day, which if I were to leave, they'd want a 2-week notice. But if they get rid of me, they just get rid of me. And you're like, what the fuck is that? You can't just get rid of me like that. That's very unprofessional. So what are you going to do? So I just shake my head and laugh at them and go, what a bunch of losers. And I look for my next job. And because of my skill set, that's why I get so many jobs. I got a master's in finance and economics and a lot of experience. So, for me, it's easy, that's what people want. That's the demand. They need that skill set. Just like you with baseball, they needed a outfielder who could hit, and that's why you could get a job with the Mets and with the Pirates, and they would pay you what they paid you is because they needed somebody and you fit the bill. And that's what with me, they need, no matter what AI or whatever, they still need somebody to analyze the statements and analyze their things. And, I didn't do any of that at this job. They didn't train me on learning the system, which was extremely terrible. And then I really didn't. I did a little bit of budgets, but that was it. And I did a little bit with the budget I did was so stupid. It was break the guy's budget out by man, and we'll look at last year's to do it. And you're like, there is no last year. It was a stupid exercise. I don't know what my boss really was asking because he wasn't even there before July, and a lot of the other people were working in different departments, so you really couldn't do that. And there wasn't a lot of accounts anyway, so I thought it was really stupid. The budget he had me do, I thought was stupid. I couldn't do it because I couldn't. There was, in the interview, I said, "Well, you look at what they did last year is how you budget this year." But that's if it's a consistent thing. So if you're doing, if you're running a department at Mercedes, Bobby, what'd you do last year? Oh, you spent 10 million. Okay. The year before you spent 9 million. Okay. What are you going to do this year? Okay. I'll budget you 10 million, provided you don't lose anything and you don't add anything. And if you do add, I'm going to give it 12 million. And that's how you budget, but that's not what he had me to do. He didn't even understand it. So you just laughed at it. When is the so yeah, it was a layoff. But I never cut off Social Security, so it's fine. I didn't make that much to kill Social Security. And if I go back to work, I will cut off Social Security unless Trump says you don't have to, or I should be old enough, but I don't know what they keep changing the age. So I don't know what that is, but I don't, whatever. If I'm working, I don't care about Social Security. If I'm not, then I do. And if I can work and get it, then even better. So that's what's going on. We're talking about why people don't understand the dollar and how it's losing value. Like the Titanic, you can see it sinking in the water, but the dollar you can't see sinking, and people are afraid to get out of it and into gold. That's the thing. Why they don't worry, or why they don't understand it. It's a shake my head moment, Bobby. They just don't get that the dollar's collapsing. It has no value. Like Warren Buffett has like $260 billion now, and I'm just laughing, going, "Well, it's not. It's worth nothing." And then the alligator's trying to say, "Well, it's got a value until people lose faith in the government." Nobody has faith in the government. That's not. It's when you keep printing it and nobody wants. When the demand for the dollar goes, that's when the dollar's gone. And as we see all the other countries de-dollarizing by going into bricks and gold, there's no demand for the dollar. So I don't know what he's talking about, faith in the U.S. government. Nobody's had faith in the government. Nobody will. Nobody trusts the government. But that doesn't mean the dollar, nobody connects the dots that the dollar and the government are connected. So that's what happened. Anyway, 30-27, Mahomes should win again. Should be tight, should be close. Two good defenses, two good offenses. Barkley will have an impact, but at the end of the day, Mahomes is the king, and that's what I see there. Anything else, Bobby? Pat? Anybody else? Am I ready for it? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of anticlimactic. It's really hard to get into football. I was watching The Catch the other day on the weekend with Montana, and they never said the yard to gain. They never stopped for instant replay. There was a catch by Tony Hill for Dallas, and it looked like his left foot was in and his right foot looked like it landed out of bounds. They never stopped for a replay, and it was a touchdown, and that was it. And if the ref calls it a touchdown, it's a touchdown. Why do we? Well, we got to make sure. We got to be accurate. Stop. Just that's why you have a ref. He calls it in or out, just like when you play baseball. They called it a ball and it was a strike. It's too bad. And if they called it a strike and it was too high, too bad. That's why you have the umpire or the refs. Let them call the game. And that's what should happen. So it was such a good game, and you got a good flow. And now it's so hard to watch with all the commercial. Oh, wait, some guy's hurt. Let's go away for 5 minutes on commercial. Oh, instant replay. Let's go away for 5 minutes and then have a commercial. And we got to make our money on commercial. Well, in the 81s with Montana, they didn't need commercials. You got people watching the catch, and then you could go to commercials. So, and it was Hank Stram and Vin Scully. It wasn't these idiots, Jim Nance and Romo and Aikman and Collins were such bad announcers. So that's what I did. And, I've been watching some gold shows and stuff like that. But anyway, now I'm going to go back to doing this about 10:30, and then I'll go to the pool earlier and enjoy that. It's nice. It gets me out, gets my mind off of things, and gets, the workout's really good for your mind. So I'll do that. And I got to stop at Walmart just to get avocados and dark chocolate. That's it, because the avocados all of a sudden at Meijer's are $2.99 for an avocado, but at Walmart it's still 99 cents. So I'll substitute. I really won't substitute. I'll just buy it from a different supply. So I'll go to Walmart. Now, the case in point is, but Walmart's near the pool. So the pool gets me out towards it. So if I'm going to the pool anyway, it's not like instead of driving to Meijer's, I drive there like it's a big deal. So should be okay if gold keeps going up. I'm fine with, I'll be protected with the gold. And if the silver finally starts moving, I got a lot of silver and I'll make a lot of money in that. So we'll see. But again, until COMEX blows up, silver's not moving. So don't think it is, but it's a great time to buy it and you cannot have enough. So you buy more silver because it will move. But if you have 1,000 ounces and it goes up $100, you made $100,000. That's the point of buying more silver. I think it's 100,000. I think I wrote that down somewhere. Yeah, so yeah, 1,000 ounces goes up $100. You made $100,000. Not bad. So all you need is silver to go up to 100, and you made 100,000 if you have 1,000 ounces. Luke, I know, has 6 boxes, so that's like 3,000 ounces. But you can't have enough because it's all you really got to get out of the dollar, and the more silver you buy at this cheap price, when it moves, it moves. And they can try to keep it down for military and for solar panels, and China wants the price low, but at the end of the day, the people with the silver want a higher price, and I think that's what will happen. All right, Bobby Bo, have a good day. Good to see you, Pat. Again, you can email me on teaserking.com. Just get my email if you have any questions or comments. Let's keep buying the gold and silver. You can see what's happening with gold, and I will leave you with the last price at 104. It is 28.44, which is the high for the day for gold, and 32.32 for silver. We got to see it break 35, so it's close. But gold 28.43, probably 2,900 by the end of the week. Yeah, figure 10:30-ish. I'll try to wake up, and then it gives me something to do, and then eat, and then go to the pool, which kind of keeps me active. And then I do look for jobs, and most of them I just get a phone call. They see my resume. I got to go to the library and update my resume with this stupid job. Another 4 or 5 months, or people look at me like, why do they only last 4 or 5 months? Well, you got idiots running the companies, but basically here, this was you eliminated the job. Well, it's not my fault. You didn't let me go for any wrong reason. It was just you eliminated the job. So, I don't know what to say, but I can't help it if you have bad management. So that's all I can do. But anyway, I'm going to start pushing to be CEO, because these guys clearly don't know what they're doing who are running the company, and the people they hire and everything. A bunch of idiots. Anyway, that's what's going on. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day. Buy your gold, 28.44, silver 32.32. Silver is so cheap. Again, it's paper. These are paper prices, not physical. The physical prices are much higher. Remember that. All right. Have a nice day. Ciao.